In a remote corner of space, at the edge of the known galaxy, there stood a small human outpost. This outpost, built many years ago during the early days of space exploration, had become a symbol of humankind's daring dreams. At its center, in a dusty, abandoned courtyard, was a mysterious relic. The relic was a large, stone-like structure with strange symbols etched into its surface. Its origin was unknown, and many whispered that it held secrets of ancient power. For years, the relic had been a silent guardian of forgotten knowledge. But its silence soon became a stage for a cruel performance. From a distant star system, an alien empire had been watching. This empire, known for its advanced technology and arrogant pride, looked down upon the humans with contempt. The aliens saw the relic as nothing more than a useless piece of history, a remnant of a failed civilization that could never match the might of their own. One cool, clear evening, as the human settlers gathered around a flickering light, a message arrived from the alien fleet. The aliens, with voices full of scorn, mocked the relic and the people who cared for it. They'd broadcast a message across several star channels, laughing at the humans for preserving what they called an old, useless artifact. Their words were sharp and cruel, intended to wound the pride of the small human community. In the midst of this cruel mockery, one brave soul stepped forward. His name was Captain Ilias Munro, a seasoned explorer who had seen many wonders and horrors in his travels through space. Captain Munro had long believed that the relic was not simply a broken piece of stone, but a key to something far greater. He recalled the legends passed down by the elders, stories of lost technology, and hidden strength that could one day lift humanity to new heights. That night, as the alien voices echoed in the outpost control room, Captain Munro gathered his closest crew. They stood together in the dim light, their faces serious and determined. "They may laugh at our past," he said in a calm, measured tone, "but they do not see our future. This relic is more than just stone. It is a symbol of our resilience. And soon, we will show them what humanity can do." The crew listened intently. They had all heard the alien jeers, but Captain Munro's words filled them with a renewed sense of hope. Even as the aliens continued their scornful broadcast, the captain's determination began to shine like a beacon in the dark. The human spirit, often underestimated by their cosmic rivals, was now set on a course to prove its worth. The next day, under a soft, pale sky, Captain Munro led a small team to examine the relic more closely. With careful hands and watchful eyes, they inspected every inch of its surface. The symbols, though faded, still glowed faintly in the morning light. It was as if the relic itself was waiting to be awakened, to tell its long-forgotten story. As they worked, the outpost technicians intercepted another message from the alien empire. This time, the message was even more scornful. The aliens boasted of their mighty fleet and advanced weapons, warning that any attempt by the humans to use the relic would be met with swift and brutal force. Their words dripped with arrogance, as if they believed the human outpost was nothing more than a minor speck on their radar. Yet, with every taunt and every sneer from the alien broadcast, the resolve of Captain Munro and his team grew stronger. They understood that the relic was not just a piece of ancient art or science. It was a challenge to the empire that looked down upon them. The relic was a reminder that even the smallest spark of human determination could ignite a fire of resistance. In the quiet moments after the latest broadcast, Captain Munro stayed awake, pondering the relic's mysteries. He imagined a time when its secrets would awaken something long buried, a force capable of defending humanity against the tyranny of the alien empire. His thoughts were interrupted by the soft hum of the outpost's engines. Somewhere in the distance, far beyond the horizon, a human warship was being readied. This warship, once thought to be lost to time, had been kept in a hidden bay, waiting for the day when it would rise again. The idea of the warship added a new layer to the captain's hope. It was a relic of a different sort, a powerful machine built in a time when humanity dared to challenge the unknown. Now it seemed that both relics, the stone structure and the hidden warship, were pieces of the same puzzle. Together, they held the promise of a great comeback. As dusk fell over the outpost, the scene grew even more dramatic. The relic, bathed in the soft glow of twilight, took on an almost mystical appearance. The alien messages had quieted, but their echoes still hung in the air. In that moment, the human outpost, with its ancient relic and the promise of a hidden warship, seemed to stand at the very edge of a great new beginning. In this fragile moment of hope and defiance, the stage was set. The mockery of the alien empire had not broken the spirit of humankind. Instead, it had lit a spark of rebellion that would soon turn into a raging fire. The relic, once seen as a forgotten remnant, was about to become the key to an uprising, a sign that humanity was ready to stand up, fight back, and reclaim its place among the stars. And so, as the first stars appeared in the darkening sky, the legacy of the relic and the awakening of the hidden warship promised to change everything. The alien empire's laughter would soon turn to silence, replaced by the roar of a warship that had been waiting for its time to shine. The discovery of secrets. The next morning, the light was soft and calm over the human outpost. Captain Monroe and his small team of explorers gathered near the relic, ready to learn its hidden story. With cautious steps, they approached the large stone structure that had puzzled them for so long. The relic, covered in strange symbols and faded images, seemed to whisper secrets of a lost past. Lieutenant Sarah Jones, a skilled technician, led the first inspection. She carried a small device that could read and translate ancient markings. As she carefully traced her fingers along the etched symbols, her device buzzed and showed unusual patterns. "These markings are not random," she said quietly. "They tell a story, a map of sorts, that might lead to hidden knowledge." The team gathered around, watching her work as the device slowly revealed a series of coordinates and diagrams. Captain Monroe observed the scene with growing hope. He remembered the old legends that spoke of great machines and hidden power buried in the past. This relic may be more than a simple monument, he thought. It might be a guide, a warning, or even a key to our future. With this in mind, the team decided to study the relic in detail. They brought in more experts, including historians who had long studied old human myths, and engineers who understood ancient technology. Each person hoped to learn a little more about the relic's true purpose. As the team worked, the relic began to show new surprises. A small panel on one side slowly slid open, revealing the hidden cavity. Inside, there lay an object that looked like a small glowing crystal. The crystal pulsed gently with light, as if it had a heartbeat. Lieutenant Jones carefully picked up the crystal. "This is amazing," she said. "It seems to be the power source for the relic, or perhaps a key to unlock its secrets." The object was unlike anything they had ever seen, a mix of technology and art, delicate yet powerful. The discovery did not go unnoticed by the alien empire. High above the outpost, their sensors picked up every movement. The aliens who had mocked the relic just hours before now began to worry. Their arrogance had blinded them to the possibility that the relic held a true secret. On the human side, Captain Monroe knew that time was short. The relic's secrets could be the key to awakening the hidden warship, a symbol of hope for humanity. He ordered his team to work faster, but with the same care and respect for the unknown. The team then moved to the next step, decoding the relic's instructions. Using the coordinates and diagrams shown on Lieutenant Jones' device, the historians discovered that the relic contained references to an ancient human code, a language of symbols passed down through generations. One of the historians, Dr. Alan Reed, explained, "This language is very old, but it speaks of great machines and forgotten battles. It hints that the relic was built to guide us to something very important." The possibility of such a discovery sparked excitement among the team, but it also brought tension. Every moment of hesitation could mean that the aliens would react again. Back in the control room, the alien broadcasts resumed. The messages now carried a tone of warning. "Do not disturb what lies within," the alien voice said. The warning was clear. The aliens were not prepared to see what the relic might unlock. Yet the human team pressed on. They believed that this knowledge was their right, a part of their heritage and future. As the hours passed, the relic's secrets began to unfold like a story written in the stars. The coordinates pointed to a location deep within the uncharted sectors of space, an area where old human records said that a mighty warship had once defended Earth from unknown dangers. The diagram on the relic resembled a schematic of that very warship. It was as if the relic was a bridge between the past and the future, linking ancient power with a new hope. Captain Monroe felt a surge of determination. "We have to follow these clues," he declared. "This is our chance to reclaim our history and our strength." His voice was calm and firm, and it inspired his team to commit fully to the task. With a plan in place, they prepared for a journey to the location indicated by the relic. The next step was to decode one final message hidden deep within the relic's core. Late that evening, as the team gathered around the relic for one last study, the hidden panel that had released the glowing crystal began to shift again. This time, a soft, melodic hum filled the air. The symbols on the relic glowed in a gentle light, and a series of images flashed on the ancient stone. These images showed the silhouette of a grand warship, its form both sleek and powerful, emerging from darkness into light. The message was clear. The relic was connected to a long-dormant guardian, a warship that had been waiting for the right moment to rise. The team sat in awe. The revelation was more than they had hoped for. It was a promise. The relic was not just an old monument. It was a guide that could lead them to the warship and to a future where humanity would stand strong against its foes. Yet, with the promise came a sense of urgency. Every discovery pushed the boundaries of what they thought was possible, and every moment meant that the alien empire might move to stop them. In that quiet room filled with ancient light, Captain Monroe and his team made a silent vow. They would follow the relic's clues, decode its hidden messages, and unlock the secrets that could awaken their long-forgotten strength. The discovery of the glowing crystal and the images of the warship had set them on a new path, one filled with mystery, danger, and hope. And as they prepared for the next step in their journey, the promise of the past and the call of the future resonated in every heartbeat of the outpost. Thus, the relic had begun to reveal its secrets, piece by piece. It was a discovery that not only shed light on ancient history, but also paved the way for a new era. The human spirit, undeterred by alien mockery and the weight of time, was ready to embrace the unknown and rise to the challenge once more. The rising tension. As the relic continued to share its hidden messages, tension began to rise in the human outpost. Word of the relic's secrets and the promise of a long-dormant warship spread quickly among the people. Every conversation, every whispered rumor, carried the weight of hope and fear. In the dim corridors of the outpost, whispers of the rising tide mixed with anxious murmurs about the alien empire's next move. Captain Monroe stood on the small observation deck, looking out over the barren landscape surrounding the outpost. His eyes were fixed on the horizon, where the last light of day met the gathering darkness. In his heart, he knew that the relic's secrets were not just signs of hope. They were a challenge thrown at the feet of the arrogant alien empire. The relic was calling humanity to rise, and with that call came the rising tension of a potential battle. In the control room, technicians and scientists worked side by side, their faces lit by the soft glow of screens and ancient symbols. Lieutenant Sarah Jones rechecked the data from the relic, her fingers flying over the controls as she deciphered more of the mysterious markings. The numbers and coordinates had revealed that the relic was part of a much larger plan, one that reached far beyond the small outpost. A hidden network of clues pointed to a place deep in uncharted space, a place where the legendary warship might lie in wait. At the same time, the alien broadcasts returned, this time with a tone that was both mocking and threatening. The alien voice, filled with haughty confidence, warned that any further tampering with the relic would bring dire consequences. "You meddle with powers you do not understand," the voice declared. "Your fragile outpost is not a match for the might of our empire." The message was clear. The aliens did not intend to stand by and let humans discover what they had long dismissed as a relic of the past. Inside the outpost, these warnings did little to slow the growing determination of the humans. Instead, they served to fuel their resolve. The outpost leaders called for an urgent meeting. In a makeshift conference room, lit by flickering overhead lights, Captain Monroe and his key officers gathered. The room was filled with a heavy silence as each person felt the gravity of the moment. "We have uncovered a secret that could change our future," Captain Monroe said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. "Every clue, every symbol, points to a power that has been hidden from us for too long. We must follow these clues, even if it means facing the full force of the alien empire." His words were simple but carried a powerful message. This was not the time for doubt or fear, but for courage and action. The meeting ended with a decision. A team of the bravest explorers and scientists was to be assembled to plan the next steps. Their mission was clear: follow the relic's coordinates to locate the hidden warship. The plan was risky, and time was short. Each member of the team knew that the alien empire might strike at any moment to stop them from uncovering the truth. Yet the risk was accepted because the alternative, letting the relic's secrets remain buried, was even worse. Outside, as night fell, the outpost seemed to hold its breath. The calm of the twilight was broken by the low hum of the engines of nearby support vehicles. Every sound, every shift in the wind, reminded the people that danger was always near. In the quiet moments before sleep, many thought of their families and the future they hoped to build. A future where humanity would not be mocked by aliens, but would stand proud and strong. In the makeshift barracks, whispers of hope mixed with fear. Soldiers, technicians, and even those who worked in the kitchens felt the tension in the air. They had all heard the alien threat, and many remembered the laughter of the enemy. But each person also remembered the old stories of human bravery, of times when people stood together against impossible odds. That spirit, though buried under years of hardship, was beginning to rise again. The tension was not just physical, but emotional. Captain Monroe felt it in his own bones, a mixture of excitement and dread. He knew that the journey ahead would test every fiber of their being. The relic was a promise of power, but it was also a beacon that would draw the eyes of the alien empire like a moth to a flame. The rising tension was the calm before a storm that could either bring victory or lead to devastating loss. As the outpost settled into an uneasy night, a single thought united everyone. The past was not forgotten, and the future was in their hands. The relic's message had ignited a spark in every human heart. It was a spark that promised change, a spark that challenged the very arrogance of the alien empire. In that quiet, suspenseful night, with danger lurking beyond the walls of the outpost and hope glowing from within, the stage was set for the next chapter of their story. The rising tension was both a warning and a call to action, a call that every human in the outpost was ready to answer. The awakening of the warship. As the tension in the outpost reached its peak, a deep, rumbling sound began to echo through the corridors. The sound was soft at first, almost like a whisper from the past, but soon it grew louder and stronger. The source of this mysterious noise was the long-forgotten warship hidden in the depths of the outpost's secure hangar. This warship, a relic of a time when humans dared to dream big, was about to awaken. Captain Monroe, who had been planning the next steps with his team, was the first to hear the strange sound. He stepped out of his office and walked down the narrow hallways, following the growing noise. With each step, the hum grew louder, vibrating the very floor beneath his feet. The crew, already on high alert, gathered behind him. They exchanged worried glances, but none of them dared to show fear. They knew that something big was happening. When Captain Monroe reached the hangar door, he paused. The heavy door was sealed shut, dust-covered, and silent for many years. But now it began to slide open slowly, as if pushed by an unseen force. Inside the hangar, the darkness gave way to a faint blue light that pulsed in a rhythmic beat. The warship stood there, shrouded in mystery and history. It was sleek and strong, its metal body showing scars of past battles, yet still shining with the promise of power. Lieutenant Sarah Jones, who had helped decode the relic's messages, was at his side. "This is it," she whispered, her voice a mix of wonder and relief. "The relic has led us to our hidden guardian." The warship's design was unlike any modern craft. Its curves and angles told a story of advanced engineering and a time when humans believed in the impossible. It was a reminder of a forgotten era, a time when hope and strength went hand in hand. Slowly, the warship's engines began to stir. A low, powerful growl filled the hangar, and panels along its sides shifted. Soft blue lights started to glow along its hull, moving in patterns that seemed to breathe life into the old machine. The crew watched in awe as the warship's central core lit up, like the heart of a sleeping giant coming back to life. Every light, every sound, was a signal that this machine was more than metal and circuitry. It was a symbol of human resilience. Captain Monroe walked closer to the warship, feeling the vibration under his boots. "This ship has been waiting for us," he said quietly, addressing his gathered crew. His voice carried across the hangar, reaching every corner of the room. "It is time to awaken its full power and prepare for what is to come." His words stirred a deep feeling of unity and purpose among the people who had witnessed the miracle. In that very moment, the warship's engines roared louder. The sound filled the vast space of the hangar, echoing off the walls and beyond. The vibrations seemed to awaken not only the machine but also the hearts of every person present. The once silent warship now pulsed with life, its systems coming online one by one. A display panel lit up, showing streams of data and codes that no one could have imagined in the modern age. It was as if the ship was telling its own story, a story of glory, loss, and a promise of redemption. Outside, the alien empire, still watching from afar, sensed the change. Their earlier broadcasts had turned to warnings, and now, in the distance, they could see the glow of the awakened warship. The aliens who had mocked the human relic and their small outpost now realized that they were dealing with more than just ancient artifacts. They were witnessing the rise of a long-dormant power, a power that could challenge their own dominance. Back in the hangar, Captain Monroe and his team quickly moved into action. Engineers ran checks on the warship systems, ensuring that every line of code and every piece of hardware was in perfect order. The crew worked together in a flurry of activity, guided by a renewed sense of hope and determination. Even in the simple light of the hangar, every face shone with pride and courage. As the final systems came online, the warship displayed its full might. Its engines, now at full power, emitted a deep, resonant roar that made the ground tremble. The hum of the activated machine seemed to fill the air with promise, a promise that the past had not been lost, and that the human spirit was stronger than ever. Captain Monroe took one last look at the warship and then addressed his team. "Today, we begin a new chapter. This ship is our voice, our strength, and our hope. It is time to show the universe that humanity will not be mocked." With that declaration, the warship slowly lifted off the ground. The hangar doors opened fully, welcoming the new dawn. The ship's ascent was graceful yet powerful, a perfect blend of old design and renewed energy. As it rose, the crew felt a collective breath of anticipation. The awakening of the warship was not just a mechanical activation. It was a call to all of humanity. It spoke of a future where hope outshone fear and where every human had a chance to stand tall against any threat. The alien empire might have started with laughter, but now, with the warship awakened and the human spirit reignited, the stage was set for a confrontation that would change the course of history. The human response. The awakening of the warship sent a powerful message across the outpost. In every heart, hope began to grow as the mighty vessel rose, its engines roaring like a living being awakened from a long sleep. Captain Monroe and his team now faced the next critical step, preparing for the coming conflict with the alien empire. The crew, inspired by the sight of the warship and the promise of ancient power reborn, quickly moved to organize themselves for what lay ahead. In the command center, a sense of urgency filled the air. Maps of nearby space sectors were spread across the table, and plans were drawn in simple diagrams. Captain Monroe led the meeting, his steady voice cutting through the tension. "Our warship is ready," he said. "We must now prepare to defend our home and show the aliens that humanity is not to be underestimated." His words sparked a fire in the hearts of everyone present. Engineers and technicians rushed to check every system on the warship. They monitored the glowing panels and recalibrated the ancient controls, ensuring that the vessel could perform at its best in battle. Lieutenant Sarah Jones worked alongside them, double-checking the codes and signals that had brought the ship to life. The human crew, though small in number, was determined to harness the power of their past and transform it into a force for their future. Outside the command center, soldiers and support staff gathered near the launch bay. The air was filled with a mix of excitement and nervous energy. Each person understood that the coming confrontation was not just a fight against an alien threat. It was a fight for the very survival of human pride and independence. The soldiers checked their weapons and made final adjustments to their gear, knowing that every small action could make a difference when facing an enemy that had long ridiculed them. As the preparations continued, Captain Monroe received a final, stern broadcast from the alien empire. The message was clear and uncompromising. The alien voice warned that any further actions by the humans would be met with overwhelming force. Yet, rather than instilling fear, the message only strengthened the resolve of the human defenders. For every word of alien arrogance, the crew felt an equal surge of determination. They had come too far, and the legacy of their ancestors would not be forgotten. Back at the warship, the human crew worked together in seamless coordination. The vessel's control room was a hive of activity, with technicians monitoring every detail of its performance. The ship's display screen showed streams of data: engine performance, shield strength, and weapon readiness. Every piece of information was crucial, and each member of the crew knew their role in the battle that was coming. The warship was not just an old machine. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that the spirit of humanity could endure even the harshest challenges. During this time, the human outpost also reached out to other nearby settlements. Messengers were sent through secure channels, urging allied outposts to prepare for the potential invasion. In simple and clear language, the messages emphasized unity and strength. "We stand together as one," they read. "Our past has taught us that when we unite, we are unstoppable." The response was swift. Other settlements began to mobilize, their own defenses coming online in anticipation of the confrontation. The sense of isolation that had once plagued the outpost was replaced by a feeling of collective purpose and hope. As the day wore on, the outpost transformed into a bustling center of military readiness. Simple training drills were organized for new recruits, and seasoned soldiers led sessions to review battle tactics. The training was basic but effective, designed to make sure that every member of the human force could work together under pressure. In these sessions, laughter and shouts of encouragement mixed with the sounds of preparation. Even in the face of potential danger, the human spirit remained unbroken and determined. In the midst of these preparations, Captain Monroe took a quiet moment to reflect on the journey so far. He remembered the cruel mockery from the alien empire and the doubts that had plagued him in earlier days. But now, with the warship awakened and the human forces united, those doubts had been replaced by a strong belief in the future. He walked along the corridors of the outpost, greeting his crew with a firm handshake and a reassuring smile. His presence reminded everyone that they were not alone, that their efforts were part of a larger fight for survival and dignity. That evening, as the outpost settled into a brief period of calm before the coming storm, the human defenders gathered for one last meeting. In the soft glow of the control room, Captain Monroe addressed them once more. "Tonight, we stand together as one," he declared. "Our warship, our outpost, and every human heart beat with the same determination. Tomorrow, we show the aliens that we will not be mocked, that our legacy is one of strength and courage." His words echoed in every corner of the room, resonating with the truth that had united them all. In that moment, every individual, whether a soldier, technician, or messenger, felt the power of unity. The human response was no longer one of fear, but of steadfast determination. They were ready to face the alien threat, to defend their honor, and to reclaim the promise of a bright future. The Warship, a once forgotten relic now revived, stood as a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring human spirit. Thus, the stage was set for the final confrontation. With their hearts filled with courage and their minds focused on the task ahead, the humans prepared to step into the unknown, ready to fight for their right to stand tall among the stars. The final confrontation. The calm before the storm quickly turned into chaos as the alien fleet moved into position. High above the human outpost, the vast armada of the alien empire appeared like dark shadows against the starlit sky. Their ships, sleek and menacing, formed a line of silent challenge as they advanced. On the ground, every human in the outpost felt a mix of fear and determination. They knew this was the moment when they had to stand up for their pride. Captain Monroe stood on the command platform of the awakened warship, looking out at the approaching enemy. His face was set in a firm expression as he spoke into the communication channel. "All hands, prepare for battle. Today, we show the universe that we will not be mocked." His words, clear and strong, echoed in the quiet hum of the ship's systems. Every crew member felt the weight of history in that moment. Inside the warship, the crew worked quickly. Technicians monitored the blinking control panels while soldiers took their positions near the weapon systems. The warship's engines roared, and its weapons, long dormant, now gleamed with energy and purpose. Lieutenant Sarah Jones checked every system one last time, ensuring that the ancient technology could perform in the heat of battle. As the alien fleet came closer, the silence of space was broken by the first burst of energy. The aliens launched their initial attack, sending streams of bright, dangerous light towards the warship. The human vessel shuddered under the assault, but its shields flared to life just in time. A brilliant blue glow wrapped the ship, deflecting the incoming energy blasts and lighting up the darkness with a halo of hope. The battle quickly escalated. The alien ships moved with swift precision, firing volleys of energy and missiles in rapid succession. In response, the warship began to fire its own array of weapons. The first shots were powerful but measured, as if the ship was testing its own strength. Each explosion in the vast emptiness of space was like a beat in the heart of the human rebellion. Captain Monroe moved among his crew, offering words of encouragement and calm in the midst of chaos. "Steady, everyone. We are stronger together," he said, his voice carrying over the crackle of communications and the roar of energy beams. His presence kept the crew focused, reminding them of the hard work they had put in and the promise they were defending. Outside, the alien ships danced around the warship, trying to find an opening. Their confidence began to waver as the human vessel returned shot after shot. With each counterattack, the aliens saw that the relic and the awakened warship were not relics of a forgotten past, but weapons of a brave new future. The tide of the battle began to turn as human determination, and the ship's hidden power combined to push the enemy back. On the battlefield, moments of close calls became the norm. A missile from an alien ship hurtled dangerously close to the warship, only to be deflected by a sudden burst of energy from one of its newly activated systems. The crew worked in perfect unison, each member aware that one small mistake could cost them everything. Every command was followed with precision, and every decision was made with the weight of the entire human legacy behind it. In the midst of the confrontation, the warship's sensors picked up a critical moment. The alien fleet's formation was beginning to break. The once organized armada was now showing signs of disarray. Captain Monroe seized this chance. "Now is our moment," he declared. With a surge of energy, the warship unleashed a full-powered attack. Its cannons fired in unison, sending waves of light and force that rippled through the enemy ranks. The alien ships, caught off guard by the sudden intensity of the counterattack, struggled to maintain their formation. One by one, they began to retreat, their once assured movements now hesitant and chaotic. The warship's barrage cut through the darkness, its powerful energy transforming the fear and arrogance of the alien empire into uncertainty. Amid the chaos, the human crew felt a renewed sense of hope. The long years of mockery and underestimation were now being answered by action. As the final wave of alien fire was repelled, the dark silhouettes of the enemy ships retreated into the void of space. The warship's roaring engines and the steady hum of its systems marked a victory for human courage and resilience. Captain Monroe stood on the bridge, looking out over the battlefield. He knew that this confrontation was only one step in a longer journey. The victory had come at a cost, and there were many challenges ahead. But in that moment, the warship and its crew had sent a clear message. Humanity would not be laughed at, and its spirit would not be broken. In the quiet that followed the final explosions, the warship drifted among the stars, a silent guardian ready for the next challenge. The final confrontation had proven one thing. Even when faced with overwhelming odds, the strength of the human heart could turn the tide of war. Aftermath and reflection. After the final blasts faded into the dark, the warship slowed its pace, drifting slowly in the vast silence of space. The alien fleet had retreated, leaving behind a trail of wounded pride and scattered debris. The humans had won the battle, but the cost of victory was clear in the quiet moments that followed. Back at the outpost, the mood was a mix of relief and sorrow. Many soldiers and technicians tended to injuries and assessed the damage done during the confrontation. The halls of the command center echoed with low conversations, stories of bravery and loss. Captain Monroe walked through the corridors, his eyes reflecting both pride and grief. He knew that while they had repelled the enemy, the journey to secure their future was far from over. In a quiet room filled with maps and ancient records, Lieutenant Sarah Jones and the historians gathered. They carefully studied the relic's symbols once more, realizing that the ancient message was not just a guide to power, but a reminder of the long history of sacrifice and courage. Dr. Alan Reed, one of the historians, spoke softly. "This relic has shown us that our past holds the key to our future. We have much to learn and much to rebuild." His words were met with silent nods, a promise to honor the sacrifices of those who had come before. Outside, under a sky lit by distant stars, families and survivors gathered in a common area to share their feelings. They recalled the days of fear when the alien laughter echoed through their lives. Now, with the warship's roar still fresh in their memories, they began to speak of hope. The victory, though hard won, gave them a new sense of purpose. People promised to work together, rebuild their homes, and prepare for any future threats with the same fierce spirit that had driven them to fight. Captain Monroe returned to the hangar, where the awakened warship rested like a sleeping giant. He placed a hand on its cool metal surface, feeling the hum of energy that still pulsed within. The ship was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of human resilience, a reminder that even in the face of mockery and defeat, hope could rise again. "We have shown them," he murmured, "that we are not afraid. Our strength lies in our unity and our willingness to fight for a better tomorrow." The outpost began the slow process of healing. Engineers repaired damaged systems, while soldiers and civilians alike set about the task of making their homes safer. The alien threat, though pushed back for now, lingered in the background, a challenge that would require constant vigilance. Yet every repair and every shared story strengthened the bond among the people. They understood that the warship's awakening was only the first step in a long journey toward a secure future. In the final hours of that long day, as the stars shone brightly overhead, Captain Monroe gathered his core team in a small meeting room. They reviewed the events of the battle, the lessons learned, and the path that lay ahead. Each person, from the highest-ranking officer to the newest recruit, felt the weight of responsibility. They had answered the call of their past and protected their future with courage and determination. The meeting ended with a quiet moment of reflection. The silence was filled with the promise of change, a promise that even in times of darkness, the human spirit could shine as bright as the stars. The relic, the warship, and the brave souls who fought for them would become legends, passed down through generations as a story of victory born from the ashes of scorn. Thus, as the first light of a new day began to break over the outpost, humanity stood united. They had turned mockery into might, despair into determination, and with every beat of their hearts, they promised to keep the fire of hope burning. The legacy of the relic and the warship was a new chapter in the long story of humankind, a story of rising, fighting, and never giving in, no matter the odds.